I want to talk gaming, not just gaming as in like videos, stuff like that. I want to talk about gaming when I was a child. Like, when I was a child, I didn't really have game systems too often, personally. Like, if I played something, it was either I was at one of my grandma's houses on the grandma on my dad's side. I was over at her house playing, or the consoles I did have as a kid. Just kind of, yeah. I was a kid, so I was fucking stupid. But yeah, I was, and as a kid, there are a bunch of franchises I grew up with. Some I hadn't even heard of, and never had ever heard of until recently, or never heard of until several years ago. And I want to focus on some of that. Now, obviously, you've got the obvious franchises I grew up with, like Mario, for example. Like Mario 64, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros., Super Mario World. As fucking terrible as the game is, and I hate it. Yeah. Then you got, like, fucking Sonic, which I have played on the channel. Dude's still playing on the channel. Fucking Sarge's Heroes. Obviously, I've played through both 1 and 2 on the channel. I've played them on the channel. Fucking Pokemon, even though this is a Pokemon themed deck box, I don't have a Pokemon. Oh wait, yeah, I do actually. I do have a Pokemon game. I mean, this is Ultra Moon, but I mean, it's still technically a Pokemon game, so I mean, it counts. But still, fucking Pokemon. Got fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! I had played as a kid. It got back into recently. And then you have then you got my 2 personal favorites that I grew up with as a kid. My 2 personal favorite franchises ever. God of War and Destroy All Humans. Now, while, yes, this is God of War 3, just pretend this is the original God of War for PS2, released back in 2005, right? Pretend this was the original God of War, released in 2005. The original Destroy All Humans came out the exact same year. Around the same time, in fact. Probably that's just like a couple weeks apart. Which is crazy because, again, I played both the original God of War and the original Destroy All Humans back in 2005. I was 6 years old playing those games. Which is crazy to think about, because it's 19 years later, almost fucking 20 since those 2 games came out. I'm still fucking playing them to this day. Not just those games in particular, but the franchise as a whole. Like, I've played, obviously, the original Destroy All Humans twice. Once for my original playthrough several years ago, and a redo of that playthrough, like, 2 years ago. I also played Destroy All Humans 2 on this exact channel, and Path of Fear, on which I did play twice. And speaking of Path of the Furon, I've got it right here. Got this game brand new. Factory sealed for $20. And Honestly, this is my favorite of the Destroy All Humans games. I personally think it's the best. Yes, obviously it has its flaws, but again, no game is perfect. Every game's gonna have its flaws, regardless of property, genre, engine, whatever. Every game's gonna have its flaws. So no game is perfect. But, yeah. The reason why this game is my favorite of the Destroy All Humans games is because the controls felt the best in the series. The weapons were super fucking fantastic. And don't even get me started on the PK while being able to fire weapons. Like, remember, this game did it before the dog shit remakes did it. Yes, I do not like the Destroy All Humans 1 and 2 remakes. They are awful. They ruined the fucking PK controls. I mean, in fact, the controls don't feel good in the remakes at all. The controls are just absolutely terrible in the remakes. So, before you ask why I haven't played the remakes on the channel yet, I'm never gonna play the remakes. The remakes were absolutely... I do not like the controls for the remakes at all. Therefore, I am not going to be playing the remakes at any point on this channel. Unless I run out of ideas for playthroughs, but obviously there's plenty of things I could do for those, so obviously I'm not going to be playing them anytime soon on this channel. But to be fair, I do still want to own them, because why not? But, yeah. And God of War 3, obviously, I've mentioned this in the past. God of War 3 is my favorite God of War game. But before I continue on with those games, there's also, franchises I've gotten into recently, fucking Toho being a major one. I got to the Toho franchise when I was 18 years old, so... And I never got to play a game play any of the games until, 2 years ago when I played Toho 17. As well as demos for 16. And then Antinomy of Common Flowers. Up until this point, before I started playing, the PC 98 games on the channel, and Toho 19, which I do have footage for from streams, but I still have I still record them, therefore I have footage for them, even though they aren't on the stream channel. The only experience I've had with Toho games before the PC 98 games and Toho 19 were obviously Antinomy of Common Flowers, because that was a big thing on the channel for quite a while. And Toho 17. Other than that, I had no experience with the Toho games. And then another one of my absolute favorites, I'm talking right up there with just God of War and Destroy All Humans, is the Puyo Puyo series. Obviously, this is Puyo Puyo 15th anniversary from the DS, which, again, only released in Japan, unfortunately. But the DS is region free, so you can play on any region DS. But, yeah. I started playing Puyo games, about 3 years ago. My first Puyo game was Puyo Puyo Tetris 1, and I played that on PC. And obviously, I branched out. I own an official... I, actually own a Puyo game. I mean, technically, I own 2 versions of Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on this one disc. Yeah. On this one disc, there's the Genesis version and the Game Gear versions of Mean Bean Machine, which is Literally just a reskin of Puyo 1. Which, honestly, to be fair, isn't that great. But, like, if I want to play Puyo 1, I'll fucking play Puyo 1. But, yeah. Puyo Tetris 1, I played on PC like 3 years ago. Around the same time I played Touhou 17 for the first time. Which again was pretty much my first Touhou game. And then I later branched off to like the actual Puyo games, like Puyo 1, 2, which is my favorite Puyo game, Puyo 2, my favorite Puyo game, Sun, which is Puyo 3, Fever, which I fucking hate. That's a game I like, but Fever Rule, I fucking hate. Obviously, 15th anniversary. I do plan on getting. One of these days, I do plan on getting, like, at least one version of each Puyo, mainline Puyo game. Like, I've got 15th anniversary on the DS, right? I don't need 15th anniversary on any other console. But I do plan on getting Fever 1 on the DS as well as Puyo Fever 2, obviously, as well. And then Puyo Pop is Game Boy Advance exclusive, but, you know, DS and DS Lite can play Game Boy games. So, yeah. And obviously I need to get a version of Puyo 1. Like, whether it be for the Super Famicom, the Genesis. Like, I just want a version of Puyo 1. I'm talking original Puyo. Not reskinned like Mean Bean Machine. No, I'm talking original Puyo 1. And then I gotta get Puyo 2, Sun, which I could get for like $14-15. Like, I could get most of these Puyo games like really cheap, actually, online. But of course, it's gonna take me a while to like do it because, yeah. And then, like, all these other games too. But, I mean, there is a way I could get Fever for the PS2. Like, I wouldn't be able to play it because my PS2 is a North American PS2. I mean, there is a possibility that it was hard modded to like play any region. I have not tested it yet because I don't have a Japanese game to test it out with. So that's out. And then, but yeah, again, like I'm looking at a complete in-box copy of Fever 2 for the DS for like $25 or something like that. Complete in box, by the way, which is actually pretty good. But yeah, I do plan on getting one version of every mainline Puyo game, all the way from Puyo 1 to obviously Tetris 2. Which, like, yeah, I do have Puyo Tetris 1 and 2 digitally on my PS4, but again, I want to actually physically own them. Because you never know when they could be taken off the store or unplayable, so yeah, obviously I want to get like them physically. Same with the God of Wars as well. Like, obviously I've got God of War 3 physically, but I want to get God of War 1, 2, Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, Ascension, 2018, and Ragnarok physically as well. That way I have the entire franchise, God of War franchise, physically. Of course, Ragnarok's going to be the hardest and most expensive to get because obviously it's brand new, so it's going to be $60 fucking bucks. But obviously, like, yeah, for the price of Ragnarok, I could get like quite a few of these Puyo games. Honestly, I really can. Like, yeah, And I have Destroy All Humans 2 digitally on my PS4, while I have, obviously, the original and Path of the Pharaoh physically. I do want to get it physically as well. Like, for my PS2 at least. And I kind of do want to get the original Destroy All Humans on PS2 as well. Like, yeah, we got an Xbox One I can play this on, but it's not my Xbox One, so it'd be an inconvenience, honestly. So getting it for the PS2 would probably be best for me, because I could play it on my PS2 basically pretty much whenever I want, because again, it's my PS2, so yeah. But yeah, again, I can actually, like, I do, again, plan on getting at least one version of every mainline Puyo game, regardless of the version and regardless if I can play it or not. Because if I can at least own the game, I'll be happy, right? And again, Puyo has actually quickly become one of my top 5 favorite franchises. Obviously, God of War, my favorite franchise. Destroy All Humans, my number 2 favorite. I honestly want to say Puyo Puyo is my 3rd or 4th favorite. Where I don't, Touhou is in the same boat, like either my 3rd or 4th favorite. Like, I can't decide which I like more, because obviously, depending on the game, like, I fucking love them, right? So it's like, which franchise do I like more? It's like one of those, like, ugh. So yeah, I honestly can't say if Puyo Puyo is my 3rd favorite or if Touhou is my 3rd favorite. And number 5 favorite franchise, even if I do hate the 2D games, I would honestly have to say Sonic is my number 5 favorite franchise. Because honestly, when you think about it, when it comes, like, yeah, I like Mario too, but it all boils down to if we're talking 2D games or 3D games. 2D games, Mario's got the better games. While Sonic's 2D games are dog shit, unless you play the Game Gear or Master System 2D Sonic games. Those are actually pretty fucking good. They're hard as fuck. Trust me, they're hard as shit, but they are so good. So much fun. And they're actually worth playing on, like, the Genesis games. But if it comes to the 3D games, Sonic's got the better games than Mario. Like, the only good 3D Mario game, Mario 64, without a doubt. And Sonic's got amazing 3D games. Sonic 06, despite what people say, again, it's flawed, yes, but every game has its flaws, right? So you can't really fault it for that. Because if you're going to say Sonic 06 is flawed to a point where it's terrible, you can basically say that about every game ever created. Like, Sonic 06, I mean, some of Sonic Unleashed, I haven't really played Unleashed. Like, I played the demo on 360, that's my extent to Unleashed I played. Sonic Generations is fantastic. Honestly, that's the extent of 3D Sonic games that I've actually played, so take that with a grain of salt, will you? Whereas all the 3D Mario games, I've played all of them, and they play basically just like a reskinned or updated Super Mario 64. Which, honestly, if I want to play something like that, I'll just play Super Mario 64. Like, but at least with the 3D Sonic games, they at least try different things. but Mario, pretty much the same thing for the most part. Actually, when it comes to 3D games, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, obviously amazing games as well. And fucking take it with a grain of salt, but Sonic Heroes, regardless of the version, yeah, I've got the PS2 version. The PS2 version is apparently the worst version of Sonic Heroes. But you know what? Despite its flaws and the Team Chaotix story, I fucking love Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes, top 5 favorite Sonic games. Same with fucking Sonic Riders. Sonic Riders, again, one of my top 5 favorite Sonic games. I mean, Zero Gravity, my least favorite of the Riders games. But, yeah, I said that. I like Sonic Free Riders more than I do Zero Gravity. Zero Gravity was just way too easy, honestly. And honestly, Free Riders is not that bad a game. You can just suck at it. Like, coming from someone who unlocked the Chaos Emerald gear in Free Riders, yeah, it was a pain in the ass. But you know what to do. And I actually physically caused myself bodily harm doing so. And you know what? It was absolutely worth it, because I at least felt accomplished when I did. So, yeah, as someone who did get the Chaos Emerald gear in Free Riders, it's really not that bad. Again, you just suck at the game. It's, again, the vision of the game does not matter. It's fucking, I love these franchises, especially God of War. Like, God of War has had honestly had the biggest impact on me growing up. And even to this day, like, growing up, like, I was like this little kid, right? I was abused, and throughout my teenage years, I was God of War 3 Kratos, right? I was God of War 3 Kratos. Always constantly angry, constantly yelling and arguing with people. Like, I would have kicked your ass just for looking at me funny. But then, obviously, I grew up into what is now Norse Kratos, right? The old Kratos, age-wise. Like, he's smarter, he's not as violent, he's not as angry. Obviously uses it when he needs to, stuff like that. He's essentially just a better person, which is honestly how again, if you want how I grew up, like, yeah, I was abused all the time growing up, especially through my teenage years. So when I reached high school, I was God of War 3 Kratos. But after graduating high school and all that, I became God of War 2018 and Ragnarok Kratos. So much better as a person. Despite what some other people might say. I changed. And I'm glad I did. But, yeah. That's why God of War is my favorite franchise. Like, yeah, I was a 6-year-old dumbass playing the original God of War on PS2 and back in 2005. And then as I got older, I started becoming, like, angrier, just like Kratos does throughout the games. And then now I'm an adult, I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more calm, collected, all that stuff, like Norse Kratos is. So yeah. Just like the games, I grew up which is honestly why God of War is my favorite franchise, despite what game it might be. God of War will probably always be my favorite franchise ever. It's crazy to think about. Almost 20 years since God of War came out on the PS2. And wow. And my playthrough for it was a year ago. And it's crazy to think about it's been that long. But honestly, I'm glad I'm able to like replay these franchises, revisit them, see if they aged well, see if they aged poorly, share my thoughts, my past experiences, some stories about them, stuff like that. Which honestly makes me appreciate and enjoy these games more because, again, yeah, while I don't like the 2D Sonic games, again, unless you count the Game Gear Master System Sonic 2D Sonic games, in like Rush Adventure, and even Mania. I liked those. I liked those games. Yes, even Mania. I don't like the 2D Sonic games as an adult. I loved them as a kid, but as an adult, no. I can still appreciate these games for what they are, even if I don't like them. I can still appreciate them. Come back to them once in a while. Have at least some fun. I can stream now. I can make videos. Enjoy these more than when I was a kid. So coming back to something like this is honestly just makes these games more fun than they were as a kid. And that's not nostalgia talking. That's actually growing up and actually like tearing off the rose-tinted glasses and seeing them all these years later to see if they hold up. Again, 2D Sonic games, well, the Genesis ones at least, no, they don't hold up. But they're still fun to play here and there, The original God of War. Sure, the graphics and the combat didn't age as well as like 2 did, 3, but again, still really fun to play. And I have been playing that here and there. Like, I've been playing 2, and obviously I've been playing 3 again recently. Obviously, I finally beat 3 on very hard after 14 years of trying. So, I mean, that's an accomplishment. Yeah, game's been out for 14 years, and I finally beat it. But again, I'm still not done. There's still like the Challenge of Exile I have to do as well, which on the PS3 version was paid. You had to pay for it in order to like access. Same with all the extra skins except Fear Kratos, which you literally just get by beating the game. But all the other like costumes and stuff for Kratos you could get throughout the game. Like, yeah, you had to pay like I think it was $3 for each of them separately. So yeah, but the PS4 God of War Remastered, yeah, you beat the game once on any difficulty, you essentially get them all. You essentially unlock all the stuff. And even taking nostalgia into account, God of War 3, just as good as it was back in 2010 when it came out. In fact, it's even better. Especially when you take God of War 2018 and Ragnarok into consideration as well. You go play those and you come back to this, like, holy shit, God of War 3 is actually better than I remember. And it's actually crazy to think about all these years I've been playing these franchises. Even if I like the games or not. it's actually nice to just come back to them. Especially, obviously, God of War, but Destroy All Humans as well. And, like, yeah, I really want to get back into speedrunning again. For those who don't know, I haven't run Freedom Planet in a long time. But, yeah. I deleted Freedom Planet on off my PS4. I might actually reinstall it. In fact, I reinstalled Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 and Puyo Puyo Champions recently, and I've been playing those as well. But, yeah. One game I do want to speedrun, Path of the Pharaon, because I looked on the leaderboards of on speedrun.com for Path of the Pharaon. There's only 4 runners. 2 on emulator, both on for PS3 emulator, and 2 runners on actual consoles. 1 on 360 and 1 on PS3. So in total, there's only 4 runners for Path of the Pharaon. And I'm fairly certain I could like mop the floor at this game, because again, I got this back in 2017. Like, I think the month after I got this, and I got the original Destroy All Humans back on my 18th birthday. Like, literally the day I turned 18, I bought this for $12 from Slackers. And I still have it, obviously. And then a month later, I got this factory sealed for $20, brand new. And I've honestly played... I'm gonna be honest, I've played this game more than I've played the original. Which is saying a lot, considering, I've been playing this game since 2005. And I didn't play this game until 2017. This game came out in 2008. I played this game for the first time 9 years after it came out. Almost. And I've played this game more than I've played the original. From almost 20 years ago. So yeah. When it comes to speedrunning this game, I'm probably going to be able to mop the floor with him. So, my next stream on the stream channel, probably going to be a run on Path of the Pharaon. It has been a little while since I played this game. Because literally the last time I played this game was for my redo of the playthrough I did last year for this game. So... I'm going to be a little rusty. But again, this game had the best controls. Best weapons. Literally everything was pretty much flawless when it came to controlling crypto and everything. Even better than the remakes even. So, it's like... I'm pretty sure I could take care of it. But... yeah, I love these franchises, and this probably gonna be my next live stream on the stream channel. And yeah, I'm gonna be enjoying this. I really am. Again, 4 runners total for this game, and only 2 of them are playing on actual consoles. 1 on 360 and 1 on PS3. Yeah. But that's insane to think about. Considering this is my favorite Destroy All Humans game. It's crazy. I'm honestly glad I've actually played these games. It's really good. Really fun. And honestly, I'm looking forward to actually running this. I'm actually thinking about playing it after I finish this video for a little bit, because I just love it so much. But yeah, these franchise, whether I'm coming back to them after all these years, still playing them after all these years, or actually starting to play them after all these years. So much fun. Again, if you haven't played the Destroy All Humans game, yeah, personally, I personally recommend obviously Path of the Pharaoh if you can get it somewhere, have a 360 or even a PS3. The original Destroy All Humans and Destroy All Humans 2. As for Big Willie Unleashed, I've never played that, so I can't vouch for that one. And the remakes for 1 and 2, avoid those. Don't play those. God of War, obviously, I can recommend any of the games. I can recommend any of the God of War games, because I've played almost all of them except Ragnarok and Ascension on the channel, so I can't really say anything about those 2 games, but 1, 2, 3, Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, and God of War 2018, I can recommend any of those for you. Just really fucking fun. As for the Sarge's Heroes games, obviously I can recommend these as well. Like, yeah, the controls aren't the best and the graphics aren't the best, but they're still pretty solid games when you look past that. Fucking Sonic. Sonic is Sonic. Like, do I really need to say anything? Mario, obviously it's Mario. Avoid any of the 3D games past Super Mario 64. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon, obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, come on. Like, obviously you got card games, the games for the card games, like RPGs, stuff like that. So, yeah, I can recommend Puyo Puyo. Obviously, I can recommend any game. Some games for the most part. Just please stay away from Fever. Fever is an unbalanced mess. Please stay away from Fever Rule under any circumstance. I do not recommend playing any of the Fever games. Again, I want to own them physically, personally, so yeah, I'm not going to be able to avoid those unless I choose not to get them. But Touhou as well, again, I can recommend any of the Touhou games. Except Touhou 1 and 2. I don't recommend Touhou 1 and 2. Those games are terrible. And those are PC 98 games. But Touhou 3 onwards, well, 3, 4, 5, 16, any of the modern games from that, I mean, they're pretty much mostly the same. Different mechanics that, like, change, just pretty much changes how games are played and everything. As well as the spin-offs, like Antinomy of Common Flowers, which I need to play on the channel again. I've been wanting to. But maybe there'll be a video later. Who knows? But I can recommend any Touhou game, like even if it's not just the games, but like the manga as well, really fucking solid as well. Depending on the manga, like Forbidden Scrollery is solid, but I personally prefer Wild and Horned Hermit. Like, it's just so much. It's just the story is much better, honestly, for Wild and Horned Hermit than Forbidden Scrollery. But yeah, again, all these franchises we have nowadays, whether they're returning or they're brand new, grew up with them or never played them until recently. Like, these franchises, whether some of the games are good, some of them are bad, or whatever, it's nice to know they exist, because I mean, if I didn't want to try like new things on the channel for gaming stuff like that, like I honestly what would I really be doing gaming wise, except playing like the same 6-7 games. Y'all think about that. So honestly, playing all these new games, new franchises, or coming back to these franchises I grew up with, like, and making videos on them is just much better than playing them originally, so not really anything to complain about there. So yeah, it's honestly all I can say is, again, if you haven't played any of these franchises I've shown off and talked about, play them. They're really fun. Again, personal favorite franchise, God of War. If obviously I'm a God of War fan because my cat's name is literally Atreus. This is Atreus. This is boy. This here is boy. Boy. Hi. You can tell I'm a God of War fan because I named my cat after Kratos' son in the new Norse games. Atreus. I do call him boy. I do the voice when I do it too, so like, you can tell I'm a God of War fan. And if that doesn't show how much I love these franchises, I honestly don't know what would, because I love these franchises, I really do. But yeah, that's honestly all I really have to say. Again, my next stream on the stream channel, probably going to be a speedrun for Path of the Pharaon, maybe. And I might do an Anatomy of Common Flowers video later today. Who knows? But anyways, I'm done with this video. Thank you for watching, hearing me talk about all this stuff. And let me know what franchises you grew up with, you're still playing today, or just have been getting into recently. Let me know all of that in the comments. I'd obviously be willing to help you, not help you, but talk to you about that, because honestly, it's nice to know what my viewers' interests are when it comes to like gaming franchises and stuff like that. Because not only does it let me learn more about who's watching my videos, but who knows, might give me ideas for future playthroughs on the channel. Who knows? But yeah, anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, take care.